Good evening and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is March 14th, 2018, Pie Day. Are you going to have some pie tonight? Are you going to do some math problems?
Fuck no.
How far can you recite pi?
3.14. That's it.
That's me too.
I don't need to know anything else. Like if 3.14 gets me a circle, then that's all I fucking need to know.
That's all I like to. I really wish I had a slice of banana cream pie tonight, though.
I can do coconut cream pie right now. That sounds all
You know what? I don't like a lot of coconut, but coconut cream pie is something I can eat.
That's the fucking tits.
Because the taste of coconut is good.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's the texture I don't like that, especially dried. I don't know about fresh from the trees in Jamaica.
Like shaved off. It's
probably
different.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's kind of like silky almost.
Yeah, I imagine, because that's what everybody says. It's different when you get it off the tree, down there.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. I can't imagine myself going to a place hot like that, so I don't know if I'll ever try it.
If you do,
unless they have them in like England or frickin' someplace like that.
if you ever do, like if you honestly do decide that you want to, do the all inclusive, for someone like you who can't stand the heat, your best bet, as weird as it sounds, is to go in the summer.
Yes,
because there's no humidity.
It's the rainy season, right?
Well, it's not even that. It's just that there's no humidity.
Okay.
The humidity is what fucking kills you down there. Like, it's what makes it hard to breathe, and the alcohol starts taking effect a little sooner.
I probably wouldn't even drink, because I don't even like to drink that much, to be honest.
You're paying for it. You might as well. I mean, I'm sure if you take Scott, Scott will get your money's worth.
And everybody else is in the money worth.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I mean, you're paying for it, so you might as well get your money's worth.
He'd probably die on the first night of alcohol poisoning, and then I just have to spend the rest of the vacation by myself.
Because it's all watered down, and I mean, as long as he sticks to the beer, he'll be okay. Yeah. Like, the only time I ever really got in trouble was I started hammering the tequila back a little too soon in the day, and I may have thrown up in the pool.
Oh, that's a little embarrassing.
Whatever. I didn't give a shit. Not my pool.
Well, we have to acknowledge the passing of Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Literally, and I don't know a lot of geniuses in the world, but I mean, there's nobody that can argue that he was probably the greatest mind of our lives.
In the realm of cosmetology, absolutely. Yeah. His work on black holes it's unparalleled. We're never going to see somebody, not for a long time, that has his understanding, or at least his theoretical understanding of black holes. It's a shame, but I mean, he lived 50 years with ALS. That's
exactly it. I had people posting tears, and I'm like, don't be sad. You should be joyous, because he was supposed to die at 20.
Yeah, exactly.
And this guy got to live, and he got to think, and I mean, you and I both agree that energy doesn't go and doesn't really disappear, it becomes something else. So he might be out in the stars,
he absolutely is.
Loves the the universe so much.
Yeah, he's out there floating around a black hole right now, looking at the Hawking's particle that was actually just proven to actually exist. I think 2 years ago at the Large Hadron Collider, which is great, because as far as Hawking's goes, it was just a theory of his. But they actually proved that there are these particles that kind of come into existence and out of existence at the event horizon of a black hole. It's amazing. Like, it's hard to follow a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of techie and really intensely scientific stuff.
But I mean, really, that guy, he's everyone's kind of toting. He's the greatest mind since Einstein.
The show was called, but it was on maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where he narrated the whole kind of sciencey show. Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
4 or 5 parts or something. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, wasn't it called How the Universe Works or something like that?
I think it's something like that. It was definitely universe, But I liked at the end, he's like, he doesn't believe in an afterlife, right? He's like, when we die, we're like a broken computer. We're just off.
You're just done. Yeah, you're done. Yeah. Your physical being ceases to be. But
and there's so many freaking, you know what? I get it. If you believe in God and heaven and all that, that's wonderful, right? He didn't. He was a lifelong atheist. Yeah. And for people to be like, I'm praying for him. Oh, I hope he found God at the end. Otherwise, and then they would put a fire emoji. Like, fuck you.
Well, I found out a little while ago, a couple weeks back now, that apparently that's all kind of bullshit anyway. Apparently the actual teachings are, it's not that you have to make amends while you're alive, that you get that chance, apparently, according to them and their bullshit doctrine, that you get the chance to make your amends and apologize and accept Jesus after you're dead.
Yeah, when
right?
you pass and you go to the pearly gates,
Yeah,
you get your chance.
yeah. So it's like, what the fuck does it matter then? You know what I mean? Like, then why does it matter if I die and then all of a sudden, like, holy shit, you know, these people were right. I'm at no loss because according to the rules of your dogma, you know, I can just apologize right then and there and be like, all right, cool.
Take Jesus into your heart, right? I always kind of was just like, you know what? Like, honestly, if I were to die, I try to be a good person. I've lived a life that's good. If I'm on the wrong side of theology, and God doesn't let me into heaven just simply because I didn't believe in him, that's pretty fucked. That's your God.
Yeah, right.
I haven't killed anybody. I don't rob people. I don't scam people. I don't treat people like shit. I don't beat people up. What the hell?
Well, but you didn't spend your life paying them 10% tithes to the church, so
on my knees the entire time.
Yeah, no, it's a great loss. It really is. You know,
yeah, it is.
Just the level of inspiration that he gave off. You know, like you have to imagine that a lot of young kids growing up, and you know, he was our Einstein.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's tragic. It absolutely is. Like it's a tragic loss for the world.
He did pop culture well in the sense that, like, you know, like when he did the few kind of like the Star Trek Next Generation, I'll always remember him from that. You know, he did the Big Bang, he did Simpsons. He did enough pop culture that he didn't oversaturate it, make us sick of him.
Yeah.
Just enough to say, you know what, he's got a freaking good sense of humor.
No, absolutely. No, he really did. I was actually just reading a story just before this. Before we start the show, I can't remember who it was saying it, but somebody apparently he was in a room and they unplugged something from the wall and he pretended like they unplugged him.
Yes, you know I saw that one.
That's great. That's fucking amazing. Like that's a great way of living your life, you know, like knowing that you have something wrong with you, but you know, you don't let it encompass your entire life. Like you still have a sense of humor about it. It's great. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no,
that's it.
Even think of like, I mean, again, anybody in my generation that was inspired to become a scientist of any sort. So I'm willing to bet that, you know, he was one of the largest inspirations.
I'm sure there's people out there that, you know, may not have gone into science, but they kind of have like, you know, an interest in all different types of fields that read many of his books and stuff. And, you know, they're just everyday Joes.
Yeah. But yeah, I know somebody, I don't even know who it was, but somebody on my Facebook ended up liking or sharing Ray Comfort's response to Hawking's passing, and I was reading some of the comments.
I don't know who that is or what that was.
Oh, Ray Comfort. Ray Comfort is he's an evangelical. He's a creationist.
Oh, that's why I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he's essentially just fucked in his head. But yeah, you know, and reading a lot of the responses from, you know, those people was really upsetting. You know, it really is. Like, I don't understand how you can claim moral high ground. You know, you can claim that moral relativity and sit there and talk shit about a dead person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's always really rubbed me the wrong way, and I see it a lot when anytime that, you know, I guess a famous atheist ends up passing. You know, you get this war of fucking theology, and it's fucking insane. It's crazy.
Well, it's the hilarious of the smugness that people think they have. Whether you're an atheist and you believe that he went nowhere, or whether you're you know, a Christian or whatever, and you think he's burning in hell, we don't know.
No, exactly.
He knows now. We don't. So shut up.
Right. Right. Like it's a fairly easy concept. Like, have any of you died?
Yeah,
no, then you
and I'm not
know
talking about near death where your synapses are going, okay? Like real death where you don't ever come back.
Well, even that, you can't fucking trust somebody. Like, you can't trust someone's recollection of what they saw. Like, oh, I seen heaven, I seen the pearly gates. No, you didn't. Like,
I've had some fucked up dreams that seem very realistic. Now, the death, when all these I don't want to call them hormones, but chemicals are going through your brain and your synapses are kind of still firing. Yeah, like weird shit happens. We don't know that that's a near-death experience. I hope it is. I hope people see what they want to see at the moment of their death. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
I mean, it'd make it a lot easier if I was staring at a bunch of tits. So, hey, cool.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When you pass away and you see your grandma, your papa, your relatives that you love, you know, that's a nice thing. Hopefully you see it.
But yeah, you know, it's sad. And
yeah, and you know, Sister Patty makes a good point. You know, now that he's not there to dispute it, they're going to say that he's paying for, you know, his beliefs and his sins.
Oh, of course. They can now take that moral high ground. They now have the ability to sit there and they can talk whatever wild bullshit they want because no one's there to defend him. Like, he can't defend himself anymore.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of atypical of how, most of these fundamentalists fucking act within shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of, they're not the most stable-minded individuals.
It's funny how easily a lot, and I'm not saying I can be very judgy myself, okay? Yeah. But I don't. I never say I'm a good person, and I don't purport to be better than anybody else. But a lot of these Christians, they forget the line from the Bible: "Judge not, lest ye be judged."
Oh, of course not.
And there's only one judge according to the Bible. Okay. So you see a lot of people that like to pass judgment on people where they really have no position to.
The Bible's up for interpretation.
Yeah.
Right? And if they only want to interpret the parts to fucking help confirm their own bias, then, I mean, hey, it states it in the rules of their own fucking bullshit, make-believe fucking book of wizardry. But, I mean, he did more for the modern world than, any evangelical has in the longest time.
Even more than any pope has?
Right, yeah, so... Yeah, I was actually impressed by that, to see the video clip of him meeting Pope. What the fuck's the Pope's name?
Francis,
yeah, the new Pope. Yeah. And the new Pope seemed really fucking cool and happy to meet him and shit like that. Like, that was nice.
It's a new, different type of Pope. I mean, he's not perfect, but he's pretty progressive for the Catholic Church and poperies.
That, and I don't think there's any thought of him being a Nazi like the last one.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah. And he also seemed, like he lives in this small little room. He's not living in the palatial Papal palace. He's not in it for the money and the glory. He really is pious,
Yeah, he's a humble dude.
Yeah. Let's move on because there was another big thing happening today. Mm-hmm. Today was one of the walkouts, the students across America and in some Canadian cities, I heard, I don't know if that's true or not, were walking out and protesting the violence, the school shootings, the, crazy gun laws in America that allow people to get guns and go into schools and shoot people. Yep. Thousands, millions, I'm sure, kids out there. There was sneakers or pairs of shoes in fields to stand in for every kid that has died in gun violence.
Yeah.
In schools in America.
Yeah.
They wore orange because orange signifies hunter's colors. Yep. Please don't kill me.
Please don't shoot. Yeah, that's what you wear in the woods if you don't want to get shot by a random hunter. That's actually kind of clever, I guess.
I thought that was a very powerful statement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of things happening. Of course, we had the Republican guy, the guy running for office. I don't know if he's candidate for Maine's 57th congressional district. His name is Leslie Gibson. He tweeted out about, I'm sure you've seen her. Her name was Emma. She's the one with the shaved head.
Yep. Yeah.
He tweeted out, "There's nothing about this skinhead lesbian that impresses me. Emma is a hero to us." Oh, somebody else said Emma's a hero to us all unless Gibson is garbage. Yeah. So this guy is basically calling a teenage girl a skinhead lesbian. He knows nothing about her. And as she is, so what? She survived. Maybe she wasn't specifically shot. Maybe she wasn't even specifically shot at. But if I was involved in a school shooting, even in another room, and I didn't even hear the shots, I would be fucked up beyond.
Oh, absolutely.
So she's a survivor. Mm-hmm. He called David Hogg. What was it? Something like I want to say habitual liar, pathological liar, something like that.
Yeah.
This guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
fuck you, Leslie Gibson.
It.
He did apologize today to Emma. He said that he's sorry he said that, and he looks forward to working with her hand in hand. Fuck you.
No,
you're only sorry that people are mad that you called her out.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy into apologies, and I never have, and I never will. There's never going to be a time where I'll really accept someone and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." No, you're not. If you were sorry, you would have said it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't. You would have used, that thing that we all have, a fucking brain, and you would have thought like, "Hey, me questioning this fucking girl's sexuality and kind of ridiculing her is probably not the smartest fucking call."
Yeah. Read the fucking climate, buddy.
But again, though, these are just desperate fucking claws at fucking people that are losing their position. I've seen a few people that I thought were, rather intelligent thinkers that, I do consume a lot of their stuff, and just listening to them try to hold on to their right to have not only the tools for murder, but the right to murder each other. It's fucking insane to me. It's literally insane to me, because that's what this all comes down to. There's no fucking argument that anyone can make to me that will convince me that this isn't about the Americans retaining their right to murder one another.
Jesus.
Because that's what
it
is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Like I was. Let me just finish the story, and we're going to move on to something that's tied into it. Just so we know that he is running unchallenged in his district, District 57. Please, someone Democrat, Independent, Green, Marijuana Party, even Communist, somebody run against this nut job, please.
Well, I hope not communist.
No, me neither. But somebody's
yeah,
this nut job.
I mean, yeah, it's just it's fucking crazy. I don't understand how you can talk shit about somebody like that.
Yeah. Because they're standing up for their beliefs. Look, I don't agree with a lot of what Republicans say, but I do think that they're allowed to say what they want to say.
Yeah, fucking A.
And I'm not going to call them skinheads or lesbians for it. I might say something about the orange one.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't really try to put like personal insults on people for those reasons.
Well, I mean,
your opinion's your opinion. Your belief is your belief.
Well, and the second, like, you're trying to make an argument or a statement or anything, and you add in an ad hominem, which is a personal attack and calling someone names, then that means your argument has zero validity to it. Yeah. Nothing. There is no substance to your argument. Showing a lack
of intelligence. You have no argument to argue back with, so it's like your mama's fat.
Exactly. You attack the person, not their argument, because you're intellectually devoid. That's your own fucking problem. You know what I mean? Yeah. You shouldn't be fucking putting that shit on that girl.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So from the land of the almighty gun, and now we're talking about California. Now, I know there's a lot of people like guns in California, but if you want to talk about a progressive state, California is, right up there. They had a teacher who also was a reserve police person. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. A man, Dennis Alexander is his name now. He was doing a fire safety, course. I don't even know what you would call it. Lesson. And he was going to make sure the gun was not loaded and fired, broke the ceiling, and 3 students were injured in what came down out of the ceiling. Yeah. Thankfully, nobody was actually shot or killed.
Yeah.
But we're talking about 2 things. A teacher who's supposed to be, everybody needs more guns in schools for the teachers, right? Isn't that the thing? So here we go. We got gun safety class from a reserve policeman who should know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And misfired a gun in a class with students.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean, again, though, that's just not indicative of the gun culture. This person was an idiot. They don't understand what they're doing. No, this is what's going to happen. This right here is the narrative through the U.S. for the next few years. If they
this is exactly what's going to happen. We're going to see teacher sits down, shoots foot off. Yeah. All kinds of stupid shit. And I was saying to Marley, Marley, what do you think the reaction in your high school, and not just because she goes to a very liberal arts kind of school, but even if you were going to say, West Hill in Toronto or a high school in Oshawa, and the teacher was going to bring a gun into class and do a gun safety demonstration.
I'd personally be livid. Even as a teenager, I would have been fucking so angry about that.
100%. People would flip their fucking lids here.
Yeah.
And rightly so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, none of this shit, to me, it has nothing to do with their constitution. I don't give a fuck about your constitution. Oh, we need to be able to save ourselves from a tyrannical government. Please, government, don't pass laws to take my guns. So, what is it? What is it? Either you're fighting this government, this big, bad, fucking scary government. That's why you need, weapons of fucking murder. Or do you need their help? This whole thing's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Because, again, I keep boiling it down to all it is they do not want to lose their right to fucking murder each other. That's it. I'm so thrilled that I live in a country where if I fucking kick a soccer ball into my neighbor's yard, I can go on their yard and get it. But down south, I mean, chances are I'll get fucking murdered for doing that.
Like we talked about the other day, my son flew a drone into our neighbor's backyard. And it was, it was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And he went over there into her yard without his pants on and didn't get shot to death.
Yeah, didn't get shot. Yeah. And not even that he didn't get shot. Didn't justifiably. By all manners of the law. That's... They got to do something. They got to figure this shit out. They got to get out of this archaic fucking 1700s bullshit. I'm sorry, the British aren't coming to overthrow you. There's zero fucking threat of the government trying to fucking strip you of your fucking guns or go to war with you. It's the dumbest fucking thought. And to that fucking thought, and I've been seeing this a lot. Oh, it's our right to defend ourselves from a tyrannical government. Cool. So you're saying that your government's tyrannical.
Yeah.
How the fuck is you having 10 ARs going to stop a fucking drone from striking your house? Do you own fucking? Do you own drones?
We saw what happened at Waco. Remember when the tank went through the building?
Right. Like I'm sorry, like, and I'm kind of getting sick of talking about them, but Americans are fucking stupid. They are so stupid, and it's all because they want to hold on the right to fucking murder one another.
I thought about this the other day. They're so dead set against any change to the Second Amendment, right? Yeah. Constitutional right. Yeah. But we keep seeing their beloved Cheeto man keep talking about how he wants to change the Constitution so he can sue the press, which they have an amendment too with freedom of the press.
Yep.
Right? So what?
Oh, no, and they're all cool with that. That's fine.
Just blows your mind.
If God Emperor Trump is fucking saying, hey, man, we need to sue the fucking press, then, hey, yeah, woo, let's sue the fucking press, man. It's only a fucking piece of paper. We can fucking change it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. wait, children are dying, but they want to take away my tools and my rights of murder? No.
Mind-boggling. That literally, I mean, I consider myself pretty set in my ways. Mm-hmm. But, you know, look, the story came out today. I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but, you know, Doug Ford, who's running as the PC candidate for Ontario, he said he thinks that they should allow marijuana in the open market.
Absolutely. It's brilliant.
I agree with him. I'll never vote for Doug Ford 100%. He would never get my vote. But I can say I agree with him on this. Because you know why? I'm not a fucking nut job.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's that, I mean, I fucking hate the fact Doug Ford's running. I really do. I'm so upset that he got the fucking nod for the cons.
Oh, yeah.
But that actually makes it a little easier on me. A little bit easier. I'm still very upset with this whole fucking abortion fucking stance. I'm not happy about that shit. But at the same point, again, though, I can't see it being a majority government. It's going to be a fucking minority.
I don't think anybody's winning a majority.
No, not at all. I mean, I kind of feel like if Christine Elliott would have got the fucking nod, it may have been, but that's just speculation. But yeah, it's fucked up to me. It's you know, people are so scared of change, I guess. But I mean, hey, it's only children getting murdered. You know what I mean? Like, it's only kids. Like, who cares? You know, it's only
future, right?
Yeah, it's only kids getting murdered. You know, I was listening even to Ben Shapiro just before we start the talk and his take on the walkouts and shit today. And normally Shapiro is someone that I can agree with for the most part. You know, again, I don't agree with his stance on abortion and shit, but everyone has the right to their own opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listening today, him saying like, oh, you know, if these kids are the future, then why haven't people, you know, given them their jobs and shit like that? Like, that's such a false equivalency. And I'm so sick and tired of like this topic, especially, which is a fucking serious topic. Like, this is something that needs to be fucking talked about. It needs to be amended. And people just throw out these logical fucking fallacies. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit that there's no honesty to this fucking conversation, because the proponents of the like Second Amendment believers or whatever, you know what I mean? They just try to derail the conversation. They try to straw man it. They try to throw you into an argument that you would just be a fucking fool for arguing that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's just so dishonest. Everything about this is so dishonest. There's no honesty at all within these arguments. They're vacant. There's no substance there, because they don't want to fucking change. They just want to derail the conversation to the point where, you know, nothing fucking changes, so they can still fucking murder one another.
Yeah. I
mean,
watch for these Second Amendment supporters to make some sort of, quote, false flag so that they can keep their guns.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, it's just,
I could be a cuckoo too, okay?
Like, it's funny, though, you know, a lot of people like to quote the Patriot movement, which I can't remember their name. Bundy? Was it the Bundys?
Yes,
right?
Bundys. The ones that took over the park.
The national park, yeah. You know, and a lot of, but that right there, that's a perfect example. The government came and they tried to tell these people they were breaking the fucking law. The government had every right to fucking step in and be like, hey, you don't have a right to be here. You know what I mean?
If that was Mexicans or black people, do you think anybody would have been left standing after the first day?
No, it's just so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. Like,
they didn't want to get involved with the Second Amendment, guys. That's why they didn't go in there and take shit over.
Like, why don't all these Second Amendment fucking
Black Lives Matter moved in there to protest? Black lives would not have mattered that day.
Oh no, it would have been shut down immediately. You know, it's actually fun. I posted a video to my Facebook from College Humor a little while ago, and it was a fake NRA ad, And you have these two like patriot-looking white guys on there, and they're talking about the importance of the Second Amendment and fucking, you know, how we have to be able to defend ourselves from a tyrannical government. And then all of a sudden, a Black Panther comes on and starts saying everything that they're saying, and they're like, no, we can't have this. You know what I mean?
Well, we can't have black men armed. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Although it's his fucking constitutional right. He's an American. Like, you know what I mean? But no, it's so fucking true. It's so true how hypocritical all these fucking Second Amendment guys are. And I'll fucking say it, all of them. They are all so fucking hypocritical. It's A-okay for them to have the tools and the right to murder one another, but give that to the Mexicans, give that to the blacks, and watch how fucking quick that they're like,
how about should they talk about gang members? Yes, I know a lot of gang members are using their weapons for crime.
Yeah.
I get that, but still, they're armed to protect themselves from other gang members.
Yeah, and even that, I'm so sick and tired of hearing that argument, though. Oh, well, Chicago has, you know, the strictest gun rules, and, you know, the criminals really care. Well, of course not. They're fucking criminals. How many of you fucking patriots are out there fucking putting an end to the criminals?
Do we throw away our DUI laws? Do we throw away our murder laws? Because people are still getting killed, so...
Yeah, right? Like, it's the most vacant fucking argument I've heard. There's nothing there. There's no fucking substance to your argument. Your argument is
they think they're so clever.
Oh, so clever. So fucking clever. And you're just beating a dead fucking horse. Which I understand that you guys enjoy because you're all bloodlust fucking murderers in waiting.
Except for our friend Faldramar. He says he's embarrassed to be to live in America. Don't be embarrassed. You know what? You need to do what you can, you know, go out on your protests and change and vote smart. And
here's the crazy thing, and she can attest to this because I've talked to her about me maybe going down there to shoot some of the guns that I can't shoot up here. Because again, I'm not anti-gun. I've never been anti-gun. I'm anti-murder. I do not think that people should have the right, especially civilians, to fucking murder other civilians.
Yeah.
That fucking mind frame, to me, is what has to fucking change. That is what needs to change. Until that fucking concept of I'm standing my ground and I have every right to justifiably kill this person, until that fucking attitude changes, this shit's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to happen. Now, again, you cannot quote random fucking cases of like just batshit crazy people doing stuff. You can't, like the fucking parcel bombings and stuff like that. To me, that's not in the same. It's not in the same ballpark. It's not even the same fucking sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there is a problem. People shooting one another. That's a fucking problem. Now again, acts of terrorism are what they are. I mean, they're fucking random. You can't quantify that shit as far as I'm concerned. But something has to be done. And I mean, you know, what do? Do we like honestly just chirp at one another? Like, because I mean, again, this all obviously has to do with political sides now. You know what I mean? Like, because it can't just be an argument of like who has the right to live and not. No, it has to be about your fucking political affiliations.
Of course.
Right? Like everything has to be about your fucking.
But I mean, like, if we're so worried about a terrorist attack, which I mean is understandable. A lot of people are afraid.
Yeah.
Why don't we make it harder for terrorists to get guns so that they can't repeat something like Pulse nightclub shooting?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but no, we don't do that. You're on a terrorist watch list, and you're still able to buy a gun,
right? Like, I don't want to live in the Minority Report world, like, or whatever the fuck. I'm pretty sure it's Minority Report.
Yes, where the precogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to live like that. I also don't want to live in a world where everything that I do is dictated to me by the government or what have you.
We want to have our free will.
Yeah. But I'd also like to live in a world where, you know, going to school doesn't get you fucking murdered.
You have to put on a flak jacket and a helmet to go to class. Yeah.
Or to even have to fucking, like, again, just the fact that people, us, everybody, is even having this conversation is fucking batshit crazy to me. Yeah. Like, this isn't a conversation I think that, like, the world, like, we should be having. We should never even have to, like...
But it's being debated for more than 20 years.
I know. It's fucked up.
That it's still debated, and now is not the time bullshit.
Yeah.
You know? You still haven't fixed... I mean, even if you don't want to go back way to the 60s or even to the 20th century when people were doing shootings. But even from Columbine, you know, which really kind of shocked the world at the time. Nothing has been done. Look, Australia had a big incident, school shooting.
Yep.
They banned those types of guns, and they haven't had one since, touch wood.
See,
you know?
And that's another thing. A lot of these Second Amendment guys, they like to quote that in Australia.
Yeah.
Oh well, okay, yeah. So the civilians don't have the right to defend
They
themselves.
have guns.
But do the criminals, like, okay, yeah, criminals still shoot one another. Gang violence is fucking real. Like, we get that kind of shit. You can't fucking equate that. You can't. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that there's a mass shooting in the U.S. every fucking week, because, I mean, apparently you're not allowed to account gang violence into these numbers, which to me is fucking insane. There was a guy who was trying to debunk the shoes on the Congress lawn or White House lawn, whatever the fuck it was, saying, oh, there wasn't 17,000. There's only been like 1,400. Well, you just erased all the gang violence. Gang violence, I mean, people getting shot at fucking school because of gang violence is still a fucking school shooting. That's still something that has to be fucking talked about.
Yeah,
and that problem has
to
be
stopped
fucking,
too.
Yeah, it just seems like,
oh my god,
nobody.
You know what?
Really,
even if it was 10, even if the number was 10, that's too many people.
That's too many. That's too many kids,
Kids
children
being shot at school. One is too many. We need to stop it.
Yeah. Oh, you can't equate suicides into that either.
Yes,
why?
you can.
Like,
because
why
if
can't
a kid
I?
can get a gun and go to school and kill themselves, why are they getting access to guns?
Right?
You know?
Like, it's just so fucking insane to me. It's crazy. It's bad shit. It's so backwards.
Remember, we talked about that 8-year-old that got the shotgun and shot his sister repeatedly. Like, a kid can get a gun. And if your kid has access to a gun, that's not right.
No. And children obviously don't understand consequences. They don't understand the longevity of said consequences either.
No, of course not.
It's just sad, And I mean, I'm very happy that these children are standing up for themselves.
I'm so proud of them.
And with the hate they've been getting, and I mean fucking like absolute vitriolic hate. Like, this shit is disgusting stuff I've seen. Yeah.
Death threats because somebody doesn't agree with you.
Right. And they're holding their fucking ground, and they will not change their opinions. I love it.
You know what? I love it. It's spreading to a lot of kids across the country and into Canada too. I have a lot of hope that I didn't have for the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not going to change overnight, and it's not going to be an easy change.
But these are the future lawmakers.
Yeah, fucking A. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe not in our generation, Arthur, or your generation, but my kids' generation.
Yeah.
Their kids hopefully won't have to go to school with school shootings.
Yeah. It's just it's crazy. It's just crazy to me. I don't understand how anybody, regardless of what side of the political fucking aisle you fall on, could look at this shit happening year after year after year of children murdering children
and
still think like, oh, well, it's not a problem with the access to the weapons. It's a mental health thing. It's a fucking family issue.
Yeah.
No, because what's the common denominator in all these incidents?
Yeah.
It's there's a fucking firearm involved. That's the common denominator. It doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to figure out that the common denominator is the fucking tool used to murder people. For fuck's sakes, it's
I mean, if I start sending packages of anthrax to schools, anthrax is illegal for a reason, right? I'm not supposed to have access to it for a reason, correct?
But it's just nuts to me. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
All because of some weird fucking scribbles written on a piece of paper that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, is equal to fucking toilet paper at this day and age.
They could not have imagined 2018.
No, fuck no. Fuck no.
Not with the smartest people could not have imagined the world we are living in today.
And it's funny to me because, like, I also start to think of, like, how this must have been, I mean, obviously not the same level because obviously the internet wasn't invented then, but like this must have been the same kind of arguments and conversations they were having when they were introducing the 13th Amendment. The same type of backlash, you know what I mean?
13 is the emancipation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So
absolutely.
And that changed. That fucking changed. And guess what? It changed your country for the fucking better. This one will probably, if you amend this law, and it's just amending. I'm not even saying strip people of their fucking firearms.
They don't even get it. They don't understand that nobody's trying to take away your guns. No. I think if you want to shoot a freaking, AR-15, let the gun clubs own them.
Yeah.
Make sure it's all done at a gun club, and then nobody has them in their houses. Like I said, I think only military people and not even really policemen, I guess SWAT teams. Nobody really needs that,
I mean, again, I don't know. I've never been in the same vicinity as said gun. I've never held one, never even looked at one. So I have no idea. You know what I mean? I don't really want to throw my hat into that ring. But, I mean, one thing I do know about is going to school and not getting murdered.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely,
I do know quite a bit about that. I've been very
yeah.
lucky to, not get murdered.
Yeah,
So
it's true, really. I mean, and these people that are being murdered, I mean, like people say, it's like the lottery. One day your numbers are going to come up.
mhm.
That's the lottery you don't want to win.
It's just, I mean, again, like I love most of my American friends. You know what I mean? I think they're all
Yeah,
fucking swell people, and I don't really have a problem with them. But when it comes to this topic, I find that I really do start resenting a lot of the Americans that I've met and I've
yeah,
started talking to, because they're just so unwilling to give up their tool and their right to murder one another. And as I said, that's where it's always going to come back to with me. It'll never, the argument will never be anything other than you not wanting to give up your right to fucking kill your
yeah,
neighbor.
absolutely.
That's because that's how I view it. I've always viewed it in that fucking light. It's just so sad. It's so fucking
Yeah,
sad. Again, it's sad that we even have to have this conversation. It's
I know.
sad that
Again,
anybody
keep
in
having
North
them.
America, yeah, it really is. It's so fucking
Yeah,
disheartening that
yeah.
I know this probably will not be the last time this year
No,
that I have to
no,
talk about this gun control shit, but a different fucking circumstance, like a different fucking
exactly.
incident. I'm willing to put
Yeah,
money on the fact that we will be talking about this again, but a different instance.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. I'm sure, we'll get more time to talk about
Oh yeah.
that in the future for sure. Let's talk about some sad things that happened to animals this week.
No.
The first one, I think you're probably gonna laugh at this story. I'm not laughing. An Idaho science teacher,
Mm-hmm.
junior high school teacher, Robert Crossland, after school, so it wasn't during a course, but
Yep.
after school, he was feeding the snapping turtle, I guess the school owns, and
Mm-hmm.
some students were there hanging out, and he fed it a puppy.
Okay.
Some reports say the puppy was dead,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody knows for certain. Somebody said that they heard the puppy screaming, but other people said the puppy was dead and deformed. So who
Well,
knows?
puppies
But
don't
I
scream.
mean, well, crying, I guess. Um, yeah, I
I
mean, what do you think? I mean, animals eat, yes, but does
I
it?
see zero issue with that at all. What makes a puppy's life worth more than a mouse?
Well, I'm
Why
just
why is
saying,
it a big
would
deal
a
if they
snapping turtle normally eat a puppy in the wild?
if it had the fucking chance, if that dog was dumb enough to get close enough to the water, it would.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really that concerned if the guy fed it the puppy. I'm
No.
more concerned that he fed it the puppy in front of the students.
Yeah, welcome to nature.
Yeah,
Welcome to
that's not
nature.
really nature. The teacher fed that. That's not nature.
Own a fucking dog in Florida and go walk your dog near a river and watch a fucking alligator come up and eat your dog. Fuck
I
off.
wouldn't
It's
walk my
nature.
dog near the river. What the fuck?
It happens. It
I
happens.
take more babies and take care of them.
I've seen countless fucking videos and read
Yeah.
countless stories of that exact scenario playing out. It's nature. If I'm a
Yeah.
predator, I eat anything that I deem as prey.
I would not want my grade 6 or 7 or 8 child watching that.
Eh,
But whatever. I don't think he should lose his job or anything.
fuck no.
Just
I,
maybe just said like maybe not do this in front of the students again. That's all I would say.
I mean, but you said it was after school, right?
Yeah.
So why were they even there?
I don't know. Maybe he said I'm gonna feed the snapping turtle after school, and they hung around, and then
Then
were
it's their own
horrified to
fault.
see the puppy.
Then it's your own
Oh my
fault.
god! You never hung around and talked to the teacher after school?
Fuck no.
Oh, I did lots of times. I loved my teachers.
I had pot to smoke. I
Oh,
like,
yeah, I definitely was not
right?
doing
I
that.
was not. I did not give a fuck
The only
about
thing
what
I
you had
did
to
when I
say
got
after school.
home after high school was like make some French fries and get fat. So
Fuck that. I mean, I'd be making French fries after I got stupid fucking baked, but no, I'm not.
oh my god, if I'd
Hanging.
smoked drug during my teen years, I'd be even fatter. Um, so, and then the other story, another airline story. So, a lady was getting onto a plane. I think she had her infant child with her, and I think she had a toddler too, but I don't know if the toddler was with her.
Yeah.
Or maybe not a toddler, but like a maybe 5, 6, 7-year-old kid. And they had their French bulldog in a pet carrier. And they thought they were going to be able to, I guess, keep it under the seat. The flight attendant insisted that they stow the dog overhead.
Okay.
The owner said, it's my dog. It's our baby. It's our dog. And they said, no, it'll be fine. Put her up there. Put it up there.
Mhm.
Well, after barking through takeoff, the dog fell silent and died. No air. No air got in there. Now, the mother at the time of this article, I know she sent one on like Good Morning America or something like that. This article doesn't quote her. There was just another person on plane. The mother was quite busy with the baby and never once got up to check on the dog, open the overhead or anything like that. I mean, don't store the dog in the overhead, but lady, why did you let that happen? Okay, here's two things. And I'm not blaming the mother because it's a horrible thing her dog died. Why'd you take your baby and your dog at the same time?
I'll blame the bitch. Like, I'll flat out blame you. There's protocol to follow flying with an animal. Flat out.
Yeah.
Like, there's protocol. You didn't follow the protocol. The flight attendant suggested you do something completely fucking stupid, and you listened.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the same
I'm not
as like
saying
the
the
lady
dog
that
deserved it.
flushed her fucking hamster. Or what was it? Guinea pig? What did she flush?
Personal support fucking gerbil or some
Hamster?
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, something fucking dumb.
Don't take the plane. Somebody would have took your dog. Call Humane Society. They would have took it. Anything. You know?
Or,
I just wouldn't have traveled with two. Like, when my kids were little, I probably wouldn't have traveled with my kids alone, first of all, on a plane. Secondly, if I would not have taken a pet. And the other thing is like, I mean, I've never been on a plane, but to my understanding, that's pretty airtight. I would have at least got up a couple times and opened it up so some fresh air got in there for my dog.
See, I find that part weird. That part to me is weird. Because I've seen overhead bins, and they're not airtight.
No?
They're not airtight. No. Of course not.
I thought they were.
Fuck no. The cabin of the plane is. Fucking
yeah.
The overhead bins aren't. They're just little fucking latchkeys. Like there's nothing to them. Like so I don't understand how the dog fucking suffocated. That makes zero sense.
A heart attack.
See, that's what I'm thinking. The dog had a fucking heart attack and died.
Which
at the same point
autopsy
is the fault of the fucking person traveling with the dog.
Yeah, because he could have had a heart attack under the seat still too.
Boom.
But being in a dark little and confined space, maybe that set it off. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not a vet, and I obviously am not performing the autopsy on this fucking puppy. But I mean, how dumb are you?
Yeah.
You know what
well,
I mean?
I will say United has apologized, and they're taking full responsibility, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, congratulations.
I'm sure she'll get free plane fare for life or something.
Yeah, more than likely they'll want to keep this quiet.
Well, it's already gone big, but as long as she doesn't sue them, I guess is their hope.
But again, sue for what? Like you brought the dog in on a carrier, which
you
as
have
far
to take
as
personal responsibility too.
As far as I know, I mean, you're not allowed to have animals unless they are support animals in the cabin of the plane.
I read here that if it's in a pet carrier, it can go under the seat as long as it's small enough to go under the seat.
Oh, so maybe it wasn't small enough.
It was one that was too big.
Yeah.
Because a French bulldog is small, but it's not tiny like a little teacup chihuahua or something, right?
No. Well, and then I mean, it also depends on the size of the crate that you're bringing it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's her fucking stupidity, flat out.
I feel bad for her and her family.
Oh, it
Apparently,
sucks.
she was the passenger on the plane said she heard screaming. She turned around and the lady was on the floor holding her dead puppy in her arms.
It
and
sucks.
the daughter was crying, of course, and then of course the baby was crying because everybody was crying.
Well, it's a fucking baby. What do you expect? That's the other thing too. Like, fuck you, traveling with your fucking kid. Fuck you. Like,
sometimes you have to. Like, what if you're moving across the country? You gotta take your baby.
Then drive. And fucking drive. I shouldn't have to sit there in a cramped fucking plane cabin, listen to your fucking kid cry, smelling its fucking farts. Fuck you. I paid a lot of money for these fucking tickets. The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I never flew. But I was really kind of very careful what I did with my kids when they were little. So I know I would never have taken a plane with my baby unless it was like an emergency.
I mean,
I wouldn't have forced my baby on somebody else.
Like I had to have been a toddler the first time I got on the plane. But I don't know, I mean, there's rules, you know what I mean? Like there's protocol to follow. There's planes specifically like designed so that the cargo hold is heated so you can travel with your animals. You have to pay a little bit more. But I mean, if you want to travel with your animal, you want to keep the thing alive the entire fucking time. So pay the money. Don't be fucking cheap. Like you can't.
I probably would want to drive too, to be honest, because you're hearing so many stories about dogs dying, even in the cargo hold, or they get loose and they run and get hit by cars, or and they never find the cat again. Yeah. So I'd probably want to drive if at all possible.
Well, that too, and I mean, it's almost like these stories kind of forget the fact that you were just saying, like, animals are fucking stupid. Like, I love my dog to death, but my dog's dumb as fucking bricks. Yeah. You know, like...
So, they do stupid shit. You're like, how'd you end up in the neighbor's yard, asshole? And
exactly. Like, how'd you end
up... Because they get in there, but they can't figure out how to get home, so they're crying.
Yeah, like, how the fuck did you get inside the wall?
Oh, my God.
There's not even a hole in the wall. How'd you end up in the wall?
Pets are dumb.
I mean, I would have lost my shit. I would, like, if I was on that fucking plane, like, I would have fucking fandangled it, so I would have got something out of it too.
Well, yeah, because now I'm traumatized from seeing a dead puppy. But also too, just if you were sitting there and you saw them locking the dog in there, wouldn't you be like, "Is that right?"
Oh, I would have rose a stink about it. A, your dog doesn't have a clearly marked fucking support worker vest on, so your dog's not, it's not a support dog. It has no right to be here. Fuck out of here. Like, I'd love to have my puppy on my hip fucking 24/7. My dog would have loved fucking some schnitzel in Germany and shit, but I can't do it because I followed the rules.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of these pretty quickly. I don't think we have to spend much time on this. I just want to kind of raise some hypocrisy here. So American Idol started on Sunday.
Yep.
Did not watch. But apparently there was a young man on, 19-year-old Benjamin Glaze. He says he's very conservative, and I guess maybe he's a Christian. I'm not sure. Okay. 19 years old, never been kissed. And that came up during his audition. Okay. So Katy Perry was like, oh, and she said, come over here and kiss me. And he's like, on the cheek. And she's like, yeah, on the cheek. So he kissed her, and she's like, that was not even a kiss. You barely even made this, the kissing noise. So he went in for the next kiss, and she kissed him on the mouth.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just a kind of like a, but still, it was against his will.
Yep.
Specifically said on the cheek. Yep. He wanted his first kiss to be special. He wants to be with somebody he loves, which I think is kind of sweet and endearing. And she took that away from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Lionel Richie did that to a female contestant.
Oh, fuck. Oh, goddamn, LA would burn.
Yeah.
LA would burn.
He would be offended that somebody took a kiss. Look, everybody's mad at Trump for taking kisses.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he says. They just walk up and kiss them on the mouth and they let you.
Yeah, straight up.
So because I'm Katy Perry and I'm hot and I got nice tits, I can steal a kiss from a guy.
Absolutely.
A lot of guys would dream about that. That doesn't mean every guy dreams about that. Come on. I just hate hypocrisy like that.
Oh, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. And I'm happy you pointed that out. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing that's really pissed me off about the whole Me Too movement. Is that, okay, yeah, cool. I understand that there's a lot of shit that happens against women. I'll never deny that. I'll never deny that. But the level of, like, I'll just say flat out victim blaming that they do on men, or just kind of brushing away their instances of being fucking sexually assaulted or sexually harassed. Yeah, fuck you.
The way we talk about men sometimes. Look, you go to a BuzzFeed article. I've said this many times. You go to a BuzzFeed article, they'll be like, oh, look at these daddies that are in the Olympics, right? And they'll show all these hot guys. But if you were to put, topless pictures of Katy Perry and Selena Gomez and Jennifer Garner, we would be horrified and offended.
Oh, yeah.
And I say all the time that BuzzFeed is, I go there for the quizzes, but it's super,
hypocritical.
Hypocritical. That's where I was going to say hypocritic. And I'm like, it's not hypocritic.
No, it's absolutely. And to that point, they did that just at these past Olympics. Something about how the ice dancers, the figure skaters are not there for men's attention. And then, like, an hour later, posted an article like, oh, these fucking 7 fucking
hottest
bobsledding bulges you have to check out. And it's like, really? So you're saying that I can't appreciate an attractive woman because that inherently means
or her camel toe if she's, in her bobsled uniform.
Or the fact that, like, if I stared at the chick's tit who popped out due to the wardrobe malfunction, like, I'm all of a sudden a rapist, but you literally sitting there drooling over some guy's fucking dick bulge. Oh, that's cool. That's that's fantastic. You know what? That's why I don't take a lot of these movements, these arguments with any fucking seriousness at all. Because fuck you. Like, I'm not one for, we only need to work for these people and nobody else. No, it's either for everyone or for fucking no one. Boom,
everyone.
done.
And that's the thing. There's the other thing, oh, the boy got, seduced by his teacher. He's a fucking legend. No, he's a rape victim.
Yeah, he was statutorily raped. Like, there's no argument you're going to make that's going to convince me otherwise. I still might high-five the kid depending on how fucking, what the teacher looked like. Yeah, flat out. Like, I got no beef with admitting that. And in all honesty, I even feel like that was some chicks. Come high school, you're smart enough to know. You know what I mean? Like, you are. You're not.
I remember
Sister
Patty had a crush on a teacher named Mr. Nickel, so she might have thought about it back in the day.
Fucking right.
He was very handsome.
And if you're cognitive enough to understand that what you're doing is not only wrong, but could you just understand the consequence of what sex involves. Then I'd even high five the chick. Like, fuck yeah. Like, you go get yours, bitch. Like, I don't give a fuck. But the hypocrisy of this stuff is always it's always been.
The male teachers go to jail, and the female well, now they're starting to put the female teachers in jail too, which is good.
Well, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know if it's just the media outlets I'm following for these or what have you, but I have seen so many more female teachers this year.
Yeah.
Just 2018.
It must have been happening so much in the past.
And just now, because people are actually looking for accountability.
That they were assaulted and it wasn't just a good time, you know?
Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, like, obviously, I would have bragged to my friends.
That hot teacher fantasy's been around since probably the beginning of time, as soon as women started teaching, right?
Well, yeah, no fucking doubt. Like, no doubt. It's,
yeah.
And, I mean, again, if you want to talk about it in that sense, like, evolutionary, you know, I've said this before, how we are kind of wired, especially as men, we are wired to find younger women attractive solely for the fact of you are
making babies.
Well, yeah, exactly. That, like, between 12 and 15 is when women, I mean, they're girls, but whatever, have the highest chances of not having birth defects or issues with pregnancy or dying in pregnancy and stuff.
Yeah.
So it is kind of fucking hardwired into us. Now,
that's why women got married. I don't want to say women. Why girls got married. And it wasn't just, you know, we're not just talking about Muslims. We're talking about pioneers. Yeah. We're talking about the Greeks. We're talking about the medieval times. Everywhere, every culture has married off girls as soon as they got their period.
Exactly. The second they hit, you know, quote unquote womanhood, they were a viable option to breed with. And now, again, that's just an evolutionary thing. I mean, it's still immoral, but it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's crazy to me, that double standard always
has
has
been. I mean, there's a reason why the Lolita fantasy is there, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just happy too that it was Katy Perry, because I fucking hate that bitch.
I despise her.
I can't fucking stand
her. I'm so mad that she beat a Beatles record for like Billboard #1 hits and shit. Fuck you, Katy Perry.
Well, that's because kids today have zero taste.
Like, I know. I mean, I like a couple of her older songs, but I mean, I would never ever call myself a Katy Perry fan.
Fuck no. I mean, I'm a fan of her tits. But other than that,
she got nice tits. I'll give her that. But
let's say just hashtag me tutor.
Exactly. She deserves it, that bitch.
Yeah.
Let's go on. Let's talk about some science. You know, I love science. Yeah. Now this isn't. I'm sure it's not a secret to you. It's not a secret to me. Cuba made a lung vaccine years ago.
Yeah.
Why it's not available in America, Canada, or the rest of the world, I don't know.
Communism.
But we had a woman from Regina who was diagnosed with lung cancer. They gave her a year to live. Nothing that they could do. She went to Cuba. She got the vaccine, and she's in remission.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. That's great. No, it's funny because, you know, I know a lot of people like to quote Cuba. I mean, at least proponents of communism like to quote Cuba as, you know, a working kind of example of communism. And this kind of shows that, you know, innovation doesn't necessarily go to die in a communist country.
Yeah.
I mean, they just invented a fucking cure for a specific type of cancer that, you know, the greatest country on earth couldn't figure out.
Well, and I mean, sure, there's a lot of people that still smoke in Cuba. That's freaking, you know, cigar central.
Yep. Shitty cigars, but cigars.
Well, I don't smoke cigars. I don't care. But you know what I mean? Like, they did something. Yeah. We have to give them credit, whether you hate Castro, you hate communism, you hate Cuba for whatever reason. You got to give them credit. They have a pretty good healthcare system from what I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, it looks decent.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't really say too much about it. I didn't spend any time in a hospital when I was in Cuba.
Yeah. Well, from what I was seeing, remember I watched that Michael Moore one, Sicko. Was it called Sicko?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he took a bunch of 9/11 responders. Down to Cuba to get medicine because they could not just like asthma medicine.
Yeah.
Because it cost thousands and thousands of dollars in their states, and so they went down there and they got seen by a doctor, and they got free medicine. You know, it's crazy. We think you're going to Cuba.
Cuba, yeah, a place
to get medicine. This lady is from Canada, right? One of the greatest countries in the world, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest.
Yeah.
Went to Cuba.
Yeah.
To get her medicine, and she's going to live because she went to Cuba to get that medicine. Fan-fucking-tastic. Good for you, Cuba. You got something going for you.
I'm willing to bet that the reason why that medication or that treatment isn't available here is because of our closeness to the Americans. Because of the trade embargoes that were sanctioned against Cuba and us being in NAFTA, you know, I'd even assume in Mexico it's probably the same thing. They're not allowed to, you know, import any of their medicines or anything like that.
That makes sense.
Because the last thing you want to do is upset, you know, our unhinged fucking brother.
But it wasn't even that expensive for her to go when you think about it. She paid $135 for the medical information. So that's it for that. And then the actual injections over a year were $14,500. Now, yeah, that's a lot of money, but compare that to America.
Yeah. Well, see that shit. I mean, I couldn't even fathom that. Like, I've seen people fucking post their medical bills for just coming, like, broken arm, and they show the bill and they owe like fucking $38,000, and I'm like, holy fuck.
My C-section. I was in a private room with Logan, and I literally almost died. I had 3 transfusions. I had an emergency C-section. I was in the hospital for 2 days before. Mine was over $10,000 for a 7-day stay in the hospital.
I ain't shit. Like,
I would not have been able to afford that if I would never have had another baby. I'd still be paying that off.
Think of when I was a kid and I broke my femur.
Yes.
I was in the hospital for 6 fucking months. Yeah. 6 months. Now, again, I don't remember exactly how much the bill was, but the only thing I can honestly remember my parents saying they had to pay was the $95 for my body cast.
Yeah, the actual cast.
That's it. And I spent 6 months in intensive traction to reset my fucking leg. Yeah, it sucked. But you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, Cuba does have it even better than we do.
Yeah.
But at the same point, so does Norway. So does England.
Cuba's got some things that aren't great too, right? Well, I'm not saying Cuba is the greatest place. I'm not holding it up as a place we should all strive to be. I'm just saying
disappeared.
Yeah, their medical care seems good.
It does, yeah.
And they made a freaking lung vaccine.
Which is great. You know, that absolutely is great. I mean,
because they were cut off. They were cut off from everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So they took it upon themselves to do something, and they did it, and fan-fucking-tastic.
No, absolutely. I mean, hey, fucking, regardless, I mean, it's going to sound horrible, but I don't even give a fuck. Am I going to turn down the fucking treatments that fucking Mengele invented? No, I don't give a does it suck? Does it fucking suck?
Back from hypothermia because the stupid Nazis, tested it.
That's it. Like, does it suck that it came off the hands of fucking human experimentation? Yeah, absolutely. It's a hard fucking pill for me to swallow.
How did America get to the moon?
But yeah, right. Yeah, like fucking Werner von Braun was a real stand-up fucking dude, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, so. I'm all for it. I don't give a fuck that it was a bunch of dirty fucking communists that invented it.
Good for them. Good for them.
Hey, that's great, If we're talking about fucking, furthering ourselves in the medical field, then I don't give a flying fuck where the treatment comes from. If it's going to keep me healthier, boom.
Yeah. Or for my child, absolutely, I take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about this one because you and I kind of had wild childhoods. We left to our own devices a lot of time exploring forests and such.
Oh, yeah.
So now there's some places in the United Kingdom where people want to build playgrounds with loose bricks, loose lumber, hammers, nails, saws, jagged boulders, and thorny bushes because they think that because we've safety-proofed everything, kids are not resilient.
I'm wholeheartedly for that.
Yeah, as long as it's not like a rusty nail that's going to give them tetanus, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah. I mean, what's that old saying? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. I mean, it's so true. Like the fucking military trail, they had that one slide back there that was like 30-foot fucking tall.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, melted your flesh off in the summer.
Exactly. I mean, what happened to those things? Like, but it's fair though. I mean, I don't want to talk shit about all fucking kids now, but they are kind of soft.
Yeah, look, I just said my son didn't know how to climb a fence because I never really, you never had to climb. I mean, I was never with him where we had to climb a fence. And, him and his friends, they'd go and hang out in Morningside Park, but they never really, got into any trouble. There's no fences to climb. We climbed fences all the time when I was a kid.
Climbing a fence to me isn't indicative of you've done something wrong.
I'm a horrible parent.
Yeah, because I still, to this day, hop fences all the fucking time.
Yeah. I mean, I was like 7 months pregnant with him and I climbed the fences behind those goat tracks in Oshawa.
Wow.
Because I had to pee and I couldn't wait for the bus to come, so I hopped the fence, man. So I don't know and it was a pretty tall fence.
But the thing is, I'd imagine that you would see more adults using said fucking sketchy park just to relive that part of our childhood.
It does seem kind of fun. I mean, they're going to have hammers. You can hammer shit? Come on.
Right. No, I mean, it sounds like I want to take a bunch of mushrooms, go play in a park.
Well, that's the thing. People, I get that like rope bridges are fun and, but just, let's make it a little like the old days. Like there was nothing safe in ours.
No, fuck no. Absolutely not.
The swings would kill you. The merry-go-round would kill you.
We used to. I mean, I'm sure you guys played it. Red Ass. You know that game? Tennis ball on the wall. Throw the ball. You catch the ball.
Yeah,
Fucking get a letter.
we called it that, but yeah, we
If the
called
letter,
it.
if it spells out red ass, you get to line up against the wall, and I get to whip a fucking ball at you as hard as I can. The teachers fucking would watch us play. I can't say they encouraged it, but they would watch us play, and they would watch us hurt one another.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad. I mean, and again, I don't want to say
you can't even like even kids get in trouble for hugging on the school grounds now.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. There's like no physical contact. We used to play tag, and somebody would fall and skin their knee, and you know you can't run that. You can't even bring a ball on some of these school playgrounds anymore because kids got hit in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. It's sad, and I mean, hey, fuck, good on. I mean, at least the English are doing something right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they seem to be failing everywhere else.
Some of them boys, right, and girls. So.
Yeah, well, they just seem to be failing everywhere else. So I mean, hey, you know, they at least need one fucking win. That place is gonna, it's gonna turn into a shithole soon.
Well, Trump won't like it then.
No.
I want to talk about this one before we go. We don't have to spend much time on it. I just think it's a hysterical idea. Did you like the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
From the 80s?
Yeah, it was what it was. It was decent, yeah.
Yeah, funny movie. Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger's come up with the idea that he wants to do triplets, where they discover there's another long-lost sibling, and it's going to be Eddie Murphy.
I like that. Eddie Murphy needs some work, too.
Yeah, and he's a funny guy. Like, he's kind of a weirdo. You know, he's had some bad misses, but when he's funny, he's funny.
1980s Eddie Murphy was amazing. Amazing.
I think I watched every 1980s Eddie Murphy movie back then.
Before the political correctness shit took over, and you know all the social commentary and shit took over, you know you were allowed to kind of be offensive and shit, and it really worked. It fucking worked.
Well, if you're gonna have a movie like Triplets with a long lost black brother, you know there's gonna be some incorrectness there.
It has to be. There has to be.
Yeah.
And you know I hope so.
And doing it in a funny way. This is the difference that people get.
Yeah.
I don't want to say a racial joke, but a joke saying like you're different than me because you're black and I'm white can be funny if it's not told in, oh, you're worse than me because you're black and I'm white. There's a difference.
But that's just it, though. The second you bring up the differences between two people, one of those two people is going to look at it in a way that you're calling them inferior for some fucking reason or another.
Yeah, some people will take offense to it and they won't go, but I think people would like that. I think even black people would go and watch that movie. People love Eddie Murphy.
Absolutely. I mean, again, 1980s Eddie Murphy. I haven't liked the goddamn thing he's done in years.
I watched the other night. I don't know if you like 80s comedies. I remember back in the day, we watched this movie called Private School with Matthew Modine and Phoebe Cates.
I was going to put that on the other night. It's on Netflix.
Watch it. I watched it on Netflix the other night again because I'd seen it a couple times. Oh my God. I will say this. There was quite a few places where I was like, rape.
Yeah.
Rape.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
Rape.
I was watching
Keeping Tom. Rape.
I was watching Porky's last night.
Yeah.
While I was going to sleep, and I kept thinking like this does not
We
fly.
watched Porky's with our parents. Like that's how movies were back then.
Like so like carving a hole into the girl's shower and fucking you know what I mean? All that gets me is some detention. Like, no, that's fucked up. Like, that's so
You're expelled and going to fucking sex offenders registry land.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I have to knock on all my neighbors' doors and have a very awkward conversation with them after I pull some shit like that. Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, we're progressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
where people have the right to say no and own their own bodies and shit, which is fucking phenomenal. I can't imagine anybody fucking making an argument for the other side of that. Like, I really, I want the right to fucking.
That's the thing. Like, as much as I was like, oh God, rape, I still was like, you know what? It was the 80s. It was a different time. We had a different society. I'm going to laugh. You know, I watched Pretty in Pink. It's one of my favorite John Hughes movies. Not Pretty in Pink, sorry, 16 Candles. Okay. One of my favorite John Hughes movies. And yes, it has Long Duck Dong, which is a horrible stereotype of a character. But I admit it, I laugh.
See, but
I laugh.
The kid was Korean. That's a fucking Korean name. Like, that's such a Korean name. I understand that even in the context that they said it, it's fucking racist as shit. But, I mean, it is a Korean fucking name. So there is an argument to be made there where it's like, you're just kind of reaching. But, no, I agree. There's a lot of shit about that I was like, I don't know if that flies anymore.
Watch Private School, and next time we talk, tell me what you think. Because I think it's kind of it's a funny, cute, dumb little movie with some weird rape references, but a lot of tits and a lot of bush. So.
See, and I was going to say that's another thing that, you know, they did back in the day a lot more was nudity. You don't see it a lot anymore. And I'm not saying that like every movie needs to have fucking tits in it or what have you, but it just seemed like people, I don't know, people just felt more comfortable, I guess. And we've kind of regressed to a little more Puritan.
Yeah.
Ish. Like, I don't want to say full out because we're definitely not Puritans. I mean,
no, but just, you're right. It's like, now it's like, you don't do nudity just for the sake of nudity. It has to mean something in the movie.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, there has to be this, like, overbearing kind of artistic.
You'll see, like, in one of the parts in the movie, the girl just wants to get the attention of this boy, so she just starts riding a horse with her tits hanging out.
Yeah. Hey, like, got my attention already. Today, right? No, of course not. Of course not. No, because then you'd have some fucking activist group fucking outside throwing trash cans around and fucking acting like complete fucking
When you watch
infants.
it, the girl that plays like the bad girl, Jordan, I think her name is, the villainess, she reminds me so much of Elizabeth Berkley from Saved by the Bell and Showgirls.
Ugh.
Not her, but it reminds me of her.
What a terrible fucking movie that was. Like, there's one where, like, all the nudity in the world couldn't fucking save it. Like, that movie was shit from the fucking ground up. Like, absolute shit. Like,
I remember my friend was like, you gotta watch it. I'm like, this is horrible.
Fucking trash. Like, I thought fucking Striptease with Demi Moore was fucking garbage. At least that one had a fucking semi, like, plot line. Like, fuck, man. That fucking
At least as much as I dislike Demi Moore, she can act, too.
Yeah, she's not the worst.
Everybody in that movie, and you had Kyle MacLachlan, and nobody could act in that movie for whatever reason.
Fucking
just collecting their paycheck, I guess.
Burt fucking Reynolds. Reynolds.
Yeah, he's in that movie.
Like the greatest fucking actor to ever live. Like the coolest fucking dude, and it still was shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it was shitty.
Shit.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. I'll be back. I won't be here on Sunday. But we will be here on Monday. Maybe not Arthur, but Ryan says he will be here. So 6:30 Monday.
Yay!
Have a good week. Thanks for listening. Happy Pi Day.